Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to yet another episode of Cave Convos. This is, in fact, Season 2, Episode 2, officially.
3.
Oh, yeah, this will be number 3. I just haven't edited number 2, that's why. Episode 3 of Season 2. I'm one of your co-hosts, Dare Bear, joined here by...
Polar Reg.
And...
Jeff Grizzly.
Wonderful. We're back. We're back in business. You know, we're actually posting so YouTube can stop telling me that I won't be making any money.
Wait, they tell you that?
Yeah, so there's an app for the content creators, and in there's a criteria you must meet in order to make money.
Is there amount of like hours?
You need to post at least 3 videos per, like in 3 months or something like that.
There's a lot of videos.
Over the summer, we failed.
Yep, that is true.
But now we're gonna eventually be back into it, so you can stop yelling at me about that at least.
How much money could there be to make on these videos?
You know, there used to be
Pennies.
so many like animators on YouTube, but that kind of model, they couldn't sustain it. They've all pretty much gone to like Newgrounds or left.
Really? What is Newgrounds?
It's like, I think it was before YouTube, it's just a video hosting site, but
Okay.
yeah, 3 in 3 months is not sustainable because you also have to make the video like at least 10 minutes long for it to be monetized, right?
Something like that.
I'm not
it's
certain.
music. I'm not too sure, but
Because music you can get advertisements,
yeah.
but it might too be like something like it depends on whoever you have that's also operating the account.
Right. If you look at those like shill, like Watch Mojo type channels, you'll see every video is like 10 minutes and 2 seconds long. Like
Yeah.
they always try to stretch it past the 10-minute mark.
I think it definitely gives you, I don't know if you have to reach that to make money, but I think it definitely improves the money and more ads. I think it might be it could be that when you reach a 10-minute video, there could be ads in it, like during the video.
That's how like gamers took over because, you know, you can just play a game for a full hour and people just watch it. But actually making some form of art that is longer than 10 minutes 3 times in 3 months, I don't know.
Yeah, good luck. Good luck.
Good luck with that.
I'm not sure too. Once again, like I was saying before, like there's a good chance that these major labels, for the songs in particular, there's a good chance that they just are partnering with YouTube so that they know that they get ads and they get this ad revenue. And that's not really fair. But with that being said, that would be a great segue into KSI.
Yeah.
But we're
We
gonna
should
go.
do that. Actually, we're talking about music.
All right, yeah, fine.
You think? So everybody is talking about like what KSI song came out, which is, you know, probably, even though everybody's hating it, he's probably getting a shit ton of money for it.
Definitely.
Yeah,
Like
without
it
a
has
doubt.
1 million billion views now.
I mean, even if the music part isn't what's getting him a lot of money, it's just the idea that this is publicity for Prime and his
Yeah,
other
in the
YouTube
video.
accounts.
In the video, it just like shows him like his like ice sculpture there, and then it just zooms off into the background, and it's just a Prime bottle encased in ice.
I thought
Sponsor.
Yeah.
I saw that like because there's a part in the music video where he is an ice sculpture getting like carved out, so his like face is moving, but he's all ice, and I'm like, this is kind of cool actually. Like
Yeah.
this is a nice visual. And then they cut to a different part of the cave, and there's a big bottle of Prime, just got a block of ice.
Oh man, it's so the beginning part. That's pretty cool. You know, like it's like a tie-in to made out of clay, like this idea that we are growing and whatever. The Prime, which has been hit with litigation regarding its healthiness and
Advertising to children.
yeah, I'm not sure what their thinking is there. It seems like a pathology.
Yeah, they're trying to market. Like this goes on with like they have Prime is in their lunchly, like instead of like a Capri Sun like thing.
okay.
They
Yeah,
have,
it is marketed towards
Yeah.
children.
They have Prime and Mr. Beast like bar in it.
Gotta get them young.
But you
So-
can't. I don't think you can give energy drinks
And-
to kids. Like,
well, it's
you
not an
can't
energy drink.
advertise them. Prime?
No,
I thought it was.
I-
It's like
do they
there
have-
is,
yeah.
but the ones they have in it are like it's like I would say it's like a Gatorade. They have like a Gatorade type, which is like just for like hydration, which probably is not
Electrolytes.
great. Yeah. And then they do have an energy kind, but they are two different ones. So the kids are definitely not getting that. But there's also a Mr. Beast bar of sorts in there. And then they're trying to say it's like, oh, it's like healthier than what's it called? They're trying to claim it's like healthier than Lunchables when there's no way in fuck it's healthier. Like there's no way. Like it's not worse, I don't think, but like it's just the same shit. You know what I mean?
Do you know what this Mr. Beast bar is?
It's just like fucking. I've never had
like
it.
a protein bar.
It's just like no, it's just like a.
Is it candy?
Yeah, it's candy. It's like you know how like Lunchables will have like a Nestle Crunch.
Okay.
It's just like that.
So it's a chocolate bar.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So they're doing Lunchables with the Prime, and they're also releasing this song, which is probably the most inoffensive thing I've ever heard. There's not a single lyric anybody could take the wrong way. There's no like risque visuals, no sort of provocative dancers or swears or profanity. It's as clean as it can be.
What is the title again?
Thick of it.
Thick of it.
Okay. Thematically, that's true. It's not like it's offensive. You know, it's not like. I don't want to bring it back to Lil Nas X, but there's not really nothing else I can compare it to when it comes to the music video.
True.
They're juxtaposing them. You know, maybe this is a bit better for kids to be listening to than Lil Nas X. At the same time, though, when it comes to the actual composition, Lil Nas X has a bit more quality.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And at least the video is like, it's it gets people going. It's provocative.
Yeah, and it's provocative. But that's another aspect too, though. You know, it's weird how KSI came out and he didn't try to be provocative, and then everyone else made it that way. Lil Nas X tries to make it provocative, and then some people will go, "Oh, this is provocative," and other people will just go, "Oh, but he's making a message for
Not
LGBTQ."
even about the music either. I don't think either of these is actually about the music. It's about the image of the person making it.
Sort of like Doja Cat as well. It's not really. She doesn't really care. Like, bitch, I'm a cow. Moo moo. That's you don't care about music, but you do care about people listening to your music. So I'm not sure. Of the things I've heard, I don't really know what the number one issue is.
It's just that it's KSI, I guess. You know, it's something that is. They're not very well reputed on the internet between the Paul brothers and anybody affiliated with them.
True.
So, I don't know.
Yeah. I did see, though, Logan Paul, I believe it was Logan. Yeah, that's the elder?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Logan Paul was on a podcast with Cliff, you know Cliff Nidat? Or what is his name? Nidell, maybe?
Cliff Knighting? I don't know. I think I know who you're talking about.
The religious sort of, I don't know what he is,
So
really.
what did he have to say?
But he's in the fucking thick of it.
Luckily, he
Everybody
didn't
knows.
use that. I can't actually remember what it was about. I think he was just generally asking him about questions. Logan Paul was asking him questions about religion and spirituality. And Cliff was impressed, actually.
Oh,
by
I
the
think I
knowledge
do know.
he
Is he
had.
like an older guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. He like goes to like college campuses.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're
Oh,
talking about.
yeah. He has like the mic and he's like, if God isn't real, how come all the planets spin the same way every time, or something like that? And he like owns them when they try to refute him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That is the guy. That is him.
Yeah.
Put up a picture of him, I guess.
Yeah,
Just so, in case this is unknown to most people. So I saw that, and I thought that this was sort of Logan's effort, and I think KSI in this music video, in this song, if you can call it that, really. I think they're trying to stray away from their provocative past, and they no longer want to be the people who go into forests and video people hanging themselves. Yeah,
or tasing rats in an alleyway.
he did that.
He
Logan?
found dead rats and he like started tasing them.
Logan?
Wow, that is
Okay, so-
perturbing.
Yeah, it was like a month after the whole
Really?
thing.
I never heard about that. It's crazy.
It's okay. That does go into this idea where there's a lot of psychological impacts on people who are famous at a young age, and of course they were part of Disney. I can only imagine what would happen to them there, because all these stories are coming out about iCarly and Dan Schneider.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I wonder if that's the reason for their behavior.
Trying to clean up their act.
I would hope so. I would hope so, because especially too this whole aspect of them targeting kids. The idea that that you have mostly children watching you, and that's what you're taking a video of, and this is what you're doing to rats. I mean, what is that? That reminds me of, do you know who the Dracula the Vampire was inspired off of?
Who? Wasn't it like something?
Vlad
Vlad
the
the Terrible?
Impaler.
Vlad the Impaler, yeah. And
I thought Ivan the Terrible for some reason.
Ivan the Terrible, well, they're pretty similar. They're pretty similar because Ivan the Terrible, of course, he killed people and he would do all these horrible things.
That's why they call him that.
Yeah.
Okay.
he was Oh, he was evil. He was evil. But so Vlad the Impaler, he would put people's heads on spikes.
Yeah, Vlad the Impaler,
wild.
you guys are right.
And thank you for the fact check there. So he would put these people's heads on spikes, and he would also, Ivan the Terrible would do this as well. They would just like torture rats. I'm not
What the fuck
sure.
does that bring them?
I have no idea.
That's in this day and age, they would be serial killers.
Yeah, you're not only that. You're talking
Well, they
about.
kind of were.
Yeah, I
weren't
guess,
they?
yeah.
Fucking Vlad.
No,
the
yeah, no,
Impaler.
they were. They
Was
were.
it like sanctioned?
What do you mean?
Like where I thought that Vlad the Impaler was like an executioner. Like he was like if someone
No,
was.
he was like a king or some shit.
Yeah, they were both
when you
rulers.
rule the country, you do whatever the fuck you want.
Well, oh yeah, well I thought like I didn't know this. I thought like he was like the king. Like there's executioners back in those days that
Yeah.
just
Yeah,
fuck kill people that need to be killed. I
But
thought
they,
that's what
they
it
were
was.
a lot of like faceless, namelesses, you know, the executioners. They were kind of people
Damn.
from
Yeah.
the slums that didn't really have anything.
A job. They need to
They
do
were
shit
they were
for-
like
They had-
they were outcasts among outcasts.
They had a well, yeah, but that's why they had to wear the mask. But they had a level of respect too, because it's almost like you're someone who's performing a burial. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it's something that you don't want to talk about, but you understand it needs to be done.
Yeah, I mean it's a trade. You know?
It needs to be done.
I say needed to be done anyway. And
King's orders, you know, divine
Yeah.
right had to be done.
yeah, yes, the Sun King. Thank you.
I think think of like Kim Jong Un now, you know, somebody who doesn't like somebody, he just kills him.
Damn,
But-
he's the current day Vlad the Impaler.
Even in China, you know, when as soon as the news got out that COVID-19 was an issue,
Mhm.
China, they just ended up assassinating all of these people who had COVID on the streets,
Mm.
and for like actual like firing squads,
Did they
just
also
like
like just
kinda
lock,
like-
like straight up like lock people's houses, like board up people's houses?
yes, you were literally forced to be inside.
Damn.
Very, very scary that you know somebody like that can have all that power.
That is literally what is it? Is it 1984? Is that what the book is called?
I think it's pretty 1984. But killing people out in the streets like that, man, it's like pathologic. Like just street sweeping the plague. That's horrific.
It's literally like Infinity War. It's like Thanos came out onto Earth and just
Literally.
decided to wreak havoc.
Like they have the same power as Thanos. If they wanted to, they could wipe out half the fucking Asian population.
Most populated country in the world.
Yeah.
I guess you have to be strict if you want to keep that shit together.
The one saving grace in all of China, I suppose. They can't wipe out these peoples. Hong Kong.
Hmm.
Good for you on that little island all by yourselves.
Hong Kong, Taiwan, Tibet. They got a lot of enemies over there.
Tibet is an interesting one because like
Mongolia.
no one's Mongolians are. What's weird about them is they were, you know about.
Genghis Khan.
I'm trying to think. There was a certain race of Asians that conquered all of China and made
It was
Qing
the
China.
Mongolians, I think. Was it?
It's very similar. It starts with an M, but I don't remember what it is.
Hmm.
They liked arrows.
The Ming Dynasty?
Not quite. The Ming is previous to this.
Mandarin? I don't know.
Man-
I'm not-
Manchus. That's what it is. The Manchus.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's
How come empires always fall?
because
Dude, every empire falls.
I know,
Nothing
always.
lasts forever.
you have to think about this. I mean, it's very difficult for you to be a bad person and have everyone under you just say, "Okay, let's do this now."
Mhm.
Eventually, it's going to turn
like,
into turmoil.
There's never been a time where like there was just a good, I guess like after a good person, there is good people, but then they are predecessed or whatever.
And then
but,
their children for some reason are just like the most horrendous human beings ever.
yeah.
Such as in Rome, you had 3 generations of Tiberius something Nero, right? The first Tiberius, he was the emperor at the time of Jesus' crucifixion, but he said, him and Pontius Pilate, they both said they didn't want anything to do with the crucifixion.
Right.
That's not too shabby.
Separating religion and politics.
Yeah. The next generation, yeah, it's you know.
They wanted it.
Well,
Or
as
they were starting to be like whatever.
they allowed for this was so by this time I believe it was Paul, or definitely one of the apostles. They've started the Catholic Church within the Holy Roman Empire, and then we go to Nero. Nero castrated. Right, so Nero had a wife. The wife left him to marry someone else. So Nero had a male servant of his castrated so that because he looked like his ex-wife.
He was probably a kid.
He was also very young. Yeah. So.
That's criminal.
Those Romans.
So yeah, so it's like it's all right. It's like it's okay. It started out okay with Pontius Pilate and the Tiberius,
Mm.
and then it turned sort of Nah, all right. Let's try and fix this, maybe.
Let's keep the shit on track, and then they just. Were like,
And then
yeah,
there
we
was
can't.
Nero. Nero just gave up on trying to be ethical at all.
Damn.
Weak leadership.
And so this is why these empires fall.
How old was he?
Which
'Cause I
one?
think the last one, because like think of like King Tut. That motherfucker was like 14 when he died, right?
Really?
He was very. I don't know if he was actually that young, but he was like very young when he died.
Hold on. You want to hear another crazy thing? This is about the Egyptians. There's a ceremony to become a pharaoh. Do you know what it is?
I couldn't. I
you
guess.
don't. You don't want to know.
Is it getting your dick cut off?
It's arguably even worse than this. You would be sent into this sort of religious site. I guess maybe a pyramid or something of the sort.
An altar.
And all of the wisest men of Egypt would come in there with you.
Do something to your penis.
They would do something with their penises. You would get severely raped by all of them. And
Okay.
the idea is that because you've endured this trauma, it would help you in the future because you would be more wise, more experienced.
That would be a good segue into Diddy.
Wow! It's all coming full circle. All coming full circle.
People are just gonna. There's something about power. You have to take advantage of people.
King Tut died at the age of 18 or 19.
And was he the pharaoh at 14 then?
Hold on.
Yeah, I heard he was like very sickly.
Yeah.
He
I
probably,
would.
probably inbred.
Bad.
Yes, they all are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you know that
The Habsburgs.
Cleopatra lived closer to we do now than to whoever built the pyramids?
Really?
Yeah, because Egypt's been around for fucking ever.
And there's also a theory as well that
King Tut, can you guess how old? Guess. Sorry to interrupt you, but can you guess how old? This is insane.
when he assumed the pharaohcy.
Yeah, when he became the
10
pharaoh.
years old.
Lower.
8.
9.
Wow.
Damn.
Good for him.
I know.
Good for him.
That's crazy. Like someone just died and they didn't think like, okay, we might need a different bloodline for this.
But
Nah, 39-year-old in there.
He did have like counselors and stuff though, right?
Yeah, I think they do. Yeah.
Also, fun fact about Cleopatra. She was Roman,
Really?
or that, or Grecian, or something of the sort. But like, she was not even fully Egyptian, and yet she had become this major leader in Egypt. Diddy though, I don't know what his ethnic background is.
I think he might also be Egyptian.
Really?
No.
There's a chance. There's a chance. I don't know.
But, oh God. What a
Yeah.
So
no.
yeah, some crazy shit has definitely come out about Diddy. Wasn't there like another 120 like charges?
You know,
like it wasn't
it's-
now very recent at this point. It was a little while ago, but
I mean, I don't know the full extent of the litigation against him. All I know is that everything that comes out,
It's just
it's a
worse.
major felony.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not just like a little crime. It's not like a minor misdemeanor.
It's
No,
like
no, no.
horrid.
Yeah,
They're
you-
like a whole fucking Rocky Horror Picture Show shit. Just
It is-
happening
yes.
all the time.
It's like as bad as someone could be. That's what Diddy has
have you
done.
seen his lawyer?
No.
His lawyer came like he was trying to like defend the baby oil. He had 1,000 things of baby oil. Like the guy said, how like what do you say about the 1,000 bottles of baby oil? And he was like, well, first off, I don't think it was actually 1,000. And he's like, well, the district attorney said it was. And then he just was like, yeah, but well, he likes to buy in bulk. Like if you go inside of Costco and you start nitpicking everyone buying in bulk, there's gonna be a lot of this stuff.
I don't think I've ever used an entire bottle of baby oil in my life.
I know.
Another thing with the baby oil, he would slip in sedatives into the baby oil so that when they would rub it on people, this is allegedly
So
what
like a
happened with the DJ.
topical
Yeah, like this is how the DJ.
sedative.
Damn.
Anyone who hasn't seen this, I'll show a picture of it because there's actually a picture. I'm not going to show the video of him like, oh, I put this man to sleep, but I'll show the picture of the DJ sleeping. What happened there, very likely, he's like, there, and this is, you saw like the basketball courts, how they have the beds?
Yep.
You go there, you get active, whatever, you think everything's fine. Well, actually, no. People have like this, like, because he even gave a speech out of college, and like there was like senior citizens in the front, and he said something, he was like, ain't no party like a Diddy party. I'm gonna have you guys going crazy after this, or something like that. And one of the guys was like, oh no.
Yeah.
Oh,
this
no.
Terrible aura.
Like, yeah, it's not even, yeah, the
Something
aura.
deeply like primal.
He is actually like, I don't want to say he's scary, but he is someone who very easily could make you uncomfortable.
Guy who rubs sedatives in you and then fucks you later asleep. That's kind of scary.
Yeah.
You know, I would keep it arm's length. That's for true.
There's so many videos that are like that like come out of him like saying some crazy shit and it just makes so much sense.
Speaking of videos, Meek Mill, he was trying as hard as he could to say that he had no affiliation with Diddy. There's videos.
Who's the one? 50 Cent? Is that the one 50 Cent that's trying to do the Diddy Do It like thing?
Did he do it?
He's like what everybody thought Michael Jackson was after he died.
Yeah.
But he's real.
Yeah,
and
and
he's
it's worse.
alive.
It's definitely worse.
I can't even remember why that started. I think it was actually, I do remember why. It's because Michael Jackson was actually a good person. And
Yeah.
to be a good person in Hollywood is basically like that's the most threatening thing that you could possibly be in
And it's
Hollywood.
also the most rare thing in the fucking industry.
It is.
So they gotta make you look
Unfortunately.
bad.
Which also, apparently there's an issue with Lizzo, because she was, apparently, her and some other artist, during one of the award ceremonies, I don't remember what it was, she didn't give credit to Beyonce for helping her produce some of her music.
Why does everyone mention Beyonce?
Lizzo is now apparently missing.
Oh, that's why.
Yeah, so so this brings us to this weird situation. Like, Hollywood is really something perturbing. It
Wait a
is
second,
really,
how is she missing?
I have no idea.
That's
Like that
crazy.
that actually made no sense to me either. I was like, how is a celebrity just gone off the face of the earth?
They're
And
not-
like, and Lizzo of all people, you could find her from a helicopter.
I know. Not literally though, like,
Not, you know what? Not even going into her whole body positivity thing. She did say this, like, at the awards. She tries to make positive music, and you know what? I appreciate that. I would much rather hear her saying, "I'm comfortable with myself," or saying, "Even though this guy mistreated me, I'm still happy," than hearing, I don't know, Trippie Redd say, "Lit, lit, 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 lit."
lit.
Come on.
Yeah, she kind of, I don't know, her music kind of makes me think of like KSI's music, where she's like, if you're a woman, be happy, be proud of yourself, you know,
Yeah.
like, yeah, and he's like, KSI's like, I went through some shit and now I'm up, you know, let's,
Yes. Now
you
I'm
can
ice
do
cold.
it too.
Yeah. I really don't understand what all the hate was all over that. It doesn't make sense.
the what, KSI?
Yeah.
I think the hate just.
They hate to see him up.
I feel like people just don't like the song. Like, the message behind the song isn't bad. Like,
But it's bleh.
It
Yeah.
seems more like a product than of like a work of art.
But I mean, turn on the radio, and that's exactly what you're gonna hear.
I also think another one of the big things I've seen is like that Prime, the product placement of Prime, and that people just hysterically laugh at that. Like, the first time you see that, you're like, what the fuck is this? Like, why is this in the video? So, I mean,
You guys know about, like, I don't know if there's a word for it. I call it the 7 out of 10 rule of music.
Okay.
Producers don't want you to make the best song that you can make. They want you to make a good song, like a 7 out of 10.
The most relatable
Because
one.
a 7 out of 10 will appeal to the most amount of people.
Okay.
If I were to play, like, Godspeed You Black Emperor, many people consider that a masterpiece, but a vast majority of people just don't have the patience for something like that. Or even Close to the Edge by Yes. 20-minute, not a wasted second masterpiece, but most people, you know, wouldn't
Yeah.
like it. You want something, and it has to be something you can play live. If you give it your all in the studio, you got to do that again every time you want to perform that song.
But that's the thing. Like, you're talking about musical artists. You're talking about people who love what they're doing. Well, they're supposed to love what they're doing.
Mhm.
And so, like, Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd, Grateful Dead, they don't mind having to perform these complex songs.
Yeah.
They love it, actually.
Yeah.
But that might not even be the entire case, because, you know, have you heard, you know, What is a Man?
yeah.
Frank Sinatra?
yeah.
And you've heard the Seth MacFarlane one, I'm assuming. But
I haven't heard Seth
basically-
MacFarlane's
Is
cover.
it in Family Guy?
well,
Or was it in, like,
yeah, it was in Sing. But
Oh, okay.
the point
yeah,
is
yeah,
that,
Sing with the Animals?
you know,
Yeah.
Frank Sinatra's
Oh,
version,
Lord.
he sings it and it's good. I mean, it's fine. It's like a KSI song, but
It is. He gets a lot of hate because he literally all he ever did was make covers, pretty much. He hardly, if ever, invented his own music.
I think this one might have been his, though.
Really?
But it's just like a self-congratulatory, like, well, I am the man, I persevered through the thick of it. But then Seth MacFarlane does a cover of it for Sing, and he just, like, belts it. Like, he goes all in. And I realized that the
Is he like a
reason
mouse?
why...
Is he a mouse?
Yeah, he plays the Italian mouse guy. But Seth only had to do that one time.
Yeah.
He had to make one thing, they'd record it and put it in the song. But Frank Sinatra, he'd be performing that live. He can't blow out his vocal cords every
Yeah.
time he does it.
A good example of that, Miley Cyrus. People talk about, oh, she sounds like she's like a chain smoker.
Hmm.
That's because if you have to go out and you're literally like doing whistles and you're doing these very complex, very difficult singing techniques, your vocal cords literally fry.
Mhm.
You literally damage them. You know what I mean? Like, think about artists like Prince. When has a guitar, he hasn't had the same guitar his whole life. He has to keep going through them because they get damaged. They get broken from the usage.
Just buying these strings, tuning it even.
Yeah.
Yeah, literally. Like even like just after maybe that's like I see. I just went to a couple of shows and like one of them has like 2 guitars set up, and every time she would put it down, you would see someone run out there and like take it backstage. I'm assuming they would obviously like tune it
Yeah.
and then run it back out there.
Hmm. I mean, it happened to Jimi Hendrix. You know, he went through a guitar
Oh, absolutely.
for the art.
But
Like literally after one song,
He
the
put-
instruments can start feeling what's it called. Like how do you think these fucking vocal cords can get after fucking concerts upon concerts?
Brutal.
Do you know
It
about
can be
Jimmy's
brutal.
guitar?
What did he smash it?
Yes, he was playing so well and hard that he had to pick up the guitar and smash it and then set it on fire. Because, you know, he was trying his best. I guess.
Yeah, but I mean, like, that's the thing too. Like, you're talking about the passion. You know what I mean? Like, like if you really love the composition you've made, I'd hope so. If you made it, right?
Yeah.
But if you really love it, then like the amount of passion you'd have to perform it is immeasurable.
Jimmy grew up in a house of like 10 kids with almost no money, and he somehow got his hands on a guitar. And he couldn't afford lessons, and all he would do was find old tapes of like concerts of the greats, you know, like Chuck Berry or some shit, and learn it by ear. That's how
awesome.
much he like loved doing it, and that's why he can make it like sing, because he isn't reciting, you know, this is how it's read, this is how it's played.
Note 1, note 2.
It's like speaking.
Yeah.
You know, because
That's beautiful.
the way I'm not good at music at all, so when I learned, I would be playing other people's songs. But to me, that's like how a parrot kind of talks in stages, mimicking sound. It's not their own. Well, Jimmy's this fucking... Like, his soul is in that shit. It's an extension of himself, you know?
Yeah.
I
it's
agree.
true.
That's
I
just
agree.
what I think.
I think you know. I think you hit the nail right in the head, though. And there definitely is levels to music as well, where like, all right, you know what? I'll say it. I didn't want to say it, but I'll say it. I understand fully why people do not like godly music.
Godly music.
Yes,
Like
and I'm not.
gospel.
See, yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I'm not talking about church choir, but like there are other songs where it'll just be the lyrics are about God, and
Like,
it
Take Me to Church.
not really because that's more
That's
secular.
more popular pop.
Well,
pop.
it's more secular too because he's literally just railing on religion.
Right.
It's not even about God necessarily. But like the songs I'm talking about, like it's called like Cornerstone and like This Is Amazing Grace. Just some examples. Compositionally, they're pretty much like KSI's music, and that's me being nice. Lyrically though, it's beautiful. Of course,
Yeah.
it's beautiful, but I just feel like they don't try. They don't try, and the reason is because there's this working theory that music theory in and of itself is demonic. Do you know why?
Why?
If you try and draw up all of the sort of the patterns and the concepts of it, like for instance, how different tones work with one another and different notes within the tones, it forms a pentagram, and like that's the relationship. It forms a pentagram.
It's so easy.
So that's sort of the reason why these songs are
So they make it so
frankly-
that their song doesn't form a pentagram.
They just found
They-
some
yeah,
reason
they
to be like, yeah.
they try not to adhere to strict rules of music theory, sort of. But like that's the thing though. Like you're talking about some of the best songs ever made, like Beethoven. That's music theory. And then there's this church music. There's this religious music, this spiritual music, if you will. I feel like we could do better. And this is we as in people who care about God.
As Hank Hill once said, "You're not making rock better. You're making Christianity worse."
Wow. Wow.
But
That's a real quote?
That's from King of the Hill.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that makes sense then.
But that whole music thing about, you know, music being like Christian music being kind of bland or it's not sounding good does not apply to black people. Gospel music is fire.
Absolutely incredible.
Just, I saw this video of this church and like the pastors
But
up
you
there
know what I have to say
talking.
about that?
What?
Is it's always like them, like you said, they're always fucking like going at it with their fucking
Yeah.
soul, you
Yeah.
know?
That's the Holy Spirit, bro.
I think that's why you need a group of people. It's because if all of them were trying to make it sound as good as possible, they would never be able to sing again.
Yeah.
But the fact that they're doing it together, it makes it so that they can actually reproduce it.
And it causes that projection. They don't have to be as loud individually.
Yeah.
True.
Well, there's also too in the Bible, it is said that the voice of God, the voice of Jesus, it's not really a voice to the Holy Spirit. It's more like a thought. But anyway, and a feeling. But the voice of God, the voice of Jesus, it's like flowing water. It's a very powerful voice. The only way you could replicate that is with multiple peoples. Mariah Carey, she can do her whistling as much as she likes, but that doesn't sound like God.
I never thought of it like that. It takes multiple souls to even get close to the voice of
Yeah.
God.
There's another quote for you here.
Community.
You cannot add a single cubit to God's grace. That's how and that's not to say that people are useless. That's to say that's how great God is.
It's just absolute.
Yes, He's eternal.
Where's a cubit? Just like a minuscule.
That's a Jewish measurement system.
Oh.
I don't actually remember what it is in like feet,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it's not very big.
It sounds really small.
It does. It does.
Yeah. Maybe maybe they used the cubit for the Minecraft movie to make those horrible animations.
Have we talked about that?
We have. We talked about Jack Black and
Yeah.
Jack Black, he's fucking, what's it called? Did we talk? Oh, yeah, I think I actually did say about that, how a movie with Jack Black in it is starting to become just like, yeah, this is probably not going to be a good movie.
it's not his fault though.
Yeah.
It's Hollywood once again going back there. They literally just create lists of certain characters or certain like in the audience's mind when you think of who someone should be, and then they just have like a list of actors that are like Willem Dafoe, for instance. Crazy, right? He's Green Goblin,
Yeah.
and he also had another film where he was just being very strange.
He's the detective in American Psycho.
So like Willem Dafoe, he's there. And
But the thing, I don't think Jack Black when I think Steve from Minecraft.
No, but you do think friendly, right? You
True,
think
true.
sort of kid
Kid
oriented,
offensive.
or at least kid friendly,
He's
right?
the KSI of actors.
yeah. He
Oh,
is
he's
definitely
recently
kid-oriented.
become though, but Jack Black used to be loved. He used to be very loved.
Yeah.
I still
He was
love him.
I do
he
like
used to
him.
make songs about like girls don't like the hard fucking.
Yeah.
Really?
He
Yeah,
also
he-
did,
he
but
was-
he was
He has the
could-
Tenacious Tenacious D is his band or whatever.
Tenacious D,
Everything
yeah.
that's like popular now is so just smoothed over for like algorithms. You know,
True.
you can't say kill. You have to say unalive. It has to appease China. It has to be safe for kids.
Yeah, like it has to appease China. Like I don't know if it's directly China, but in Overwatch they made like the non-binary character, but it's like just like a straight up guy practically. But they say it's a them. So
Or-
realistic. So in China, they probably are like if there's a different like version of Overwatch, I bet you that they're not classified as
They
a
probably
them.
don't even have those flags in their game either. It's all. That's why every like LGBT inclusion is something that is not essential to the game.
Yeah.
So they can port it over to China. They can like edit out the flags and the skins that have it, and then get their version of it.
I guess what is what is the one with Joel? That
Last of Us.
The Last of Us.
Mm.
There is in the second part of that video game. There is I don't want to say. I was gonna say dyke, but that's a bit aggressive.
In the first part of the
There's-
game, there's two gay guys fucking, right?
Really?
Well, in the show there was, and I think the show is directly
Oh,
based off
that
of
was
it.
the best episode.
I didn't actually finish the show with Pedro Pascal. Is it good?
I haven't even watched the first episode,
I
but
really liked it.
All right.
there is an episode. The guy
I
from
think towards the end. it
Ron
got
Swanson from
That's usually
Parks
how
and
it
Rec,
is.
right? It's Ron Swanson. That's his name.
He's in there.
That's
He's the guy. He's the gay
right?
guy.
Weird.
Really?
Even it's a Ron Swanson type. He's very serious. He's like a. I guess I'll go over the plot. Do you know unless you want to do that?
I don't even know the plot.
Well, that episode, the zombie apocalypse has happened, and the zombies aren't even really a huge issue, but it has sown such chaos and distrust between people that everybody's forming their own camps, kind of like Fallout.
Okay.
And there's a guy who, you know, what's left of the American government comes in, they get everybody out of this town so they can put them in like a quarantine zone. But this guy is mad paranoid and built a bunker underneath his house that he hid in until everybody was gone. And then he just like put up mad defenses. And he's like, I'm gonna live here alone. I have enough food to last
Is
forever.
that Ron Swanson? That's
Yeah, very serious, like stoic, distrustful guy. And then some, we'll say too friendly for his own good, like complete opposite type of person. He's kind. He's just walking around outside, falls into his trap. And
He set up traps?
He had traps around his house.
Well, because
Wow.
like it's a zombie apocalypse.
Zombies and
I don't think he was
raiders.
trying to trap humans. But
Okay.
There's all these raiders too, like people who are
yeah.
trying to get loot. All the infrastructure's fucked.
Well,
I
it's,
think
like,
yeah.
it's like The Walking Dead.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
Yeah, that's how empires fall.
Zombies.
Disorder.
Disorder, yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
Pandemonium.
Pandemonium.
So what? Then they just end up fucking.
Yeah, then they just end up fucking.
So that's what's ironic about that is I don't remember what the actor's name who is Ron Swanson, but he used to post like YouTube videos and people would just generally sort of revered him because he was considered the epitome of masculinity.
Mm.
He's not even like that at all. He's nothing like his Ron. I've heard he's nothing like the character. Because Ron Swanson, he would be like a.
Type.
No, but I'm talking about like the actual like the actor, not even like just like the performance he was doing. Like he was just considered the pinnacle of masculinity, and then he does this. I'm not quite sure where that came from. It seems like a complete and utter left turn.
I've heard he's very left turn, like he said. That's what I've heard about him. It doesn't surprise me at all. He did
The
get sexy.
masculinity thing sounds more like something the public put on him.
Yeah.
Than something
But he posted these videos about it. You know what I mean? Where he was describing what it means to be masculine, and I feel like that's a bit hypocritical, isn't it?
Not some masculine person.
Counterpoint, maybe there is nothing more manly than banging another man.
I guess what
showing
really matters
dominance over another man.
was he being penetrated or was he the penetrator? I suppose.
I don't know.
Maybe
I don't
maybe
know
this
that.
is what makes him masculine.
He was, I think. That's
I would assume.
Is that a good question?
The other guy
Is
seems
it
like
really?
a power bottom. I'm gonna bet.
I assume that it went
Yeah,
both ways
that
at some
is
point.
true.
I'm just
I-
gonna assume it would go both ways at some point or
there's
another.
really no way of telling.
We're
I'm
gonna
gonna
have to test this.
we'll gather all the gay people at BSU and we'll answer this
And just
question.
watch him go at it.
Wow.
This
Wow.
one switched. This one stayed on top the whole time.
Maybe this is what Diddy was doing. This is what the lawyer should use as an excuse. It was just a social experiment.
Yeah, it was just a prank, bro.
It's just a prank, bro.
I was gonna say this brings us back to Hollywood as well. So do you know Cat Williams?
Yeah, I think. Yes, yeah. He's the one that did
Comedian.
the Shannon Sharp
Yes.
podcast. Yeah, he was on that.
He's a comedian. I think he's very funny. He's also rather truthful, which is what helps his comedy.
Mhm.
But he likes to expose Hollywood, and
That's like what that whole Shannon Sharp episode was about, kind of, right?
yeah. And one of the aspects of Hollywood is there are such things allegedly where you must perform a shame ritual.
Oh yeah.
The
I've heard
Illuminati
that.
shame rituals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is how you sort of climb up higher. It's because they have effectively a blackmail against you.
So that's how Ron Swanson ended up playing a gay guy. It was
That's-
a humiliation ritual.
That's what it honestly. That's my best guess because, like I said, like this is just a complete left turn
Mm.
from his character apparently. And that also leads to another thing though in Hollywood, where apparently they will literally kidnap people and it's conspiracy that they'll clone them. I don't want to say they clone them, but at the very least, there's definitely something they do to these people that makes them
Yeah.
completely and utterly change.
Yeah,
From Kevin Hart to Dave Chappelle, Ron Swanson, I guess.
I thought Gucci was a clone.
Gucci, yeah, I saw. It's because
yo,
like his eyes are
I've
strange,
heard
right?
that. I don't know if it's
Oh,
like
he
a
lost a lot of
clone.
weight in prison too.
I
Yeah.
don't know if it's like a clone, but like the people are saying it's not P Diddy because like if you look at his face, the picture of his like his mugshot or whatever, he's just like he has like a clean face or whatever, and then like
Yeah.
a picture of him from like I don't know how long ago it was, but he has like a freckle right here.
Yeah, it's the same thing with Dave Chappelle. They say his face completely changed, and this even goes to Hillary Clinton as well. And Joe Biden, people are saying that even if it's not cloning, there's another sort of attached to this conspiracy is this idea that there's literally just body doubles, people that look like
Yeah.
them, and then they'll place prosthetics or whatever they need
Oh, freaky.
all over their face. With Joe Biden in particular, you could actually see like some sort of prosthetic coming off of his neck. Like so, this is like.
That would not probably been the least for Joe Biden though, because he couldn't stand up in front of people for the fucking
But
life.
Then
of
why
him.
would they have him go up and go?
True.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure of all the details, but
The reason I'm skeptical of that conspiracy, aside from the fact that it's batshit insane, I'm not saying it isn't true. It is insane, but I saw a post that was like Kanye in 2004 versus Kanye now, and the guy who posted it was like, "Why does he look so different?" And maybe the real answer here is that the public are just not accustomed to the passage of time.
I
Yeah,
have seen
that
a
is-
thing
that is
though.
another
I think I
one.
saw the same thing. Maybe not the same images, but it was of Kanye from like 2004 and like 2024, and everyone was saying he looked so much older in 2004.
But then again, replacing like a public like figure does sound like something America,
Yeah, that
like
is
our
bad,
government would do.
I mean,
It is definitely like a far. I don't know how to say. Like it's kind of like a outlandish. I don't know the word, but it wouldn't
Far-fetched.
surprise me. You know what I mean?
it's almost unbelievable because like no rational human being thinks, yes, let's try and trick the public by making people who are famous actually these robotic clone-esque human beings.
Mm-hmm.
That is the most absurd thing possible. But it would work.
It could.
It feels like one of those things that they would like if they leaked. Yeah, we were doing that. The CIA or Hollywood or whoever. Retrospectively, we'd be like, duh.
Yeah.
I know.
Look at this. He looks different. He lost weight.
There was even a mask on him. Like you could see it.
But we're too many steps ahead of that, which means if you're right, you're crazy.
Right, and this is the power of the internet as well, where you can censor the things that are rational, and then everything that's irrational, you make that seem like the truth.
Yeah, the internet's done. It's a whole game changer. You don't even have to kill a politician anymore. You just have to ruin his image.
What's it called?
And it's easier than ever.
This
Right.
is just like something to do with the internet. Not really like what you. Remember last night I was looking up how many drinks would it take to be considered an alcoholic a week.
Yeah.
And the first thing that comes up is like suicide help. Like I didn't even talk about killing myself. Why the fuck are you bringing this up? Just give me the
A
information.
lot of people drink themselves to death.
Yeah,
True.
so what was the question again?
Because me and him were just talking about, I forget what, but
We were drinking.
Yeah, we were trying to figure out how many drinks a week it was.
Yeah, because you were accusing me of being an alcoholic.
Because I saw something like earlier on, and it was like if a male has like 7 drinks a week, they're considered an alcoholic.
Which is way too low.
Yeah. And
7 drinks a week?
I think it's 15. We looked at it, it was like 15 actually, but.
Which
15 a week doesn't
I know.
really
That's like
seem-
2 drinks a day
beers
is
a
not
night.
that much.
have our standards just changed?
To be fair though, to consume it habitually,
Yeah.
like that will literally just impact your psychological
True.
state
Yes.
regarding it. So I'm guessing that's what it is. Whereby,
Because if you do drink 2 beers a day for a whole year, that will definitely affect
yeah,
you.
like it'll probably come to the point too where if you don't have 2 beers, you're gonna be like fiending for it.
That's when
And
you're
also-
alcoholic.
Yeah.
And also, if you have 2 beers for a week straight, there's no way you're not going up to a 3rd beer at that point. No way. You wouldn't feel shit after that. You'd be like, yeah, I'm
Yeah.
used to this.
I usually
Yeah.
wait like a month or 2 until I get another like 12 pack. You know.
What I will say, I like wine. Particularly champagne. And so, if I have a glass of that every week, I don't think I would become addicted to it or an
Yeah,
alcoholic.
You wouldn't.
But
Because that's the thing, like,
Maybe after a year of doing it.
maybe.
I don't think so, because, like, people do that. You said 1 glass a week.
Yeah, but like to be fair, like maybe this is where the stereotype of like alcoholic mothers comes from. Is because they do it regularly and they think there's nothing wrong with it, and then they start adding to the consumption.
Well, if you start adding it onto the consumption, then yeah. I mean, but if you're just doing what you said, I don't think so. But it could
Yeah.
get worse from that, so.
Yeah, it's you're opening the door, I guess. It's a gateway alcoholic.
The drug stuff, I think of every generation, we have completely failed. Like
Every day
for the 90s, early 2000s, we were very like I felt like we were on the path. Everybody knew cigarettes were giving you cancer. Everybody was like, don't do drugs.
Yeah, weed was like
And then-
fucking, what's it called? Like, weed was like the equivalent of like heroin.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
war on drugs.
and now weed is legal. Shrooms are gonna be legal. What the
Shrooms
fuck
are
is-
going to be legal.
Is this?
What
I
is
don't,
happening?
I don't think that.
I agree with
I don't
shrooms,
think
though.
that.
I want shrooms to be legal.
Shrooms is like that's actually something that it's a great way for you to just break out of cycles that you have, and frankly, that's what most Americans need.
The
Like,
thing is about it is, have you seen like the law? You're allowed to have up to 30 grams of psilocybin mushrooms on you if this law passes. I don't think that's fucking necessary at all.
yeah, that is a
What do
bit.
you mean?
Well, no, actually, I do understand because that means you can naturally harvest it.
Yeah, that is part of the law. That you can grow it now.
Yeah. So like that's, and not only that, like you can literally just like go into certain forests and you can like just pick it. And so if you want to do that and don't not have to go to the forest every week, then I would hope you'd be able to hold at least 30 grams.
I know, but like, damn, like 30 grams is kind of a lot.
That is a lot. What's weird, well, another thing too is if they're legalizing it, I'm guessing, is there really any concern about distribution of it?
You can't. I mean, once it's.
Well,
out of
I
your
assume
hands-
because it's still illegal to sell weed if you're like not licensed as a dispenser. You know what I mean?
you bought
Is
a
it?
card off of me for $20.
That would technically. Well, first
That
of
was
all,
a
I'm not
transaction.
21. I'm not 21, so you just went to. I'm 21 actually. I'm 21.
Yeah. Well,
Jeff didn't sell
wasn't-
to him.
I wasn't 21 either.
Oh yeah, he wasn't actually.
wasn't-
Yeah, you actually weren't. So
I
I
wasn't
was
either.
not either. I feel like most people.
that was like
start
over a
young.
year. That was like well over a year ago.
Yeah, and that's not even my fault. That's society's fault. Probably.
Yeah. Honestly, they push it. You have
Yeah,
movies
but-
like Project X. You have Superbad. All of these things.
Go
where
to
they're-
movie.
where they're
Love
per-
Superbad.
where they're perpetuating these revelrous acts, and always in there. Some drugs, some alcohol, sexual intercourse
Like the
as
whole
well.
point of fucking Superbad is these underage kids trying to get alcohol for a party. It's the whole
Yeah.
plot of the movie.
Yeah. And they end up smoking weed with police officers, right?
Yeah, yep. One of them does, yeah.
It was. It's the vapes, man. It's the portability of them.
Yep.
The
Makes it-
convenience.
The convenience.
It's almost scary.
What's stopping kids from smoking cigarettes and weed like at school? Well, it makes you smell like shit, and you have to go outside and use fire to do it. But now,
Yeah.
Yep.
With that being said, though, with the cigarettes in schools, at BR, all the toilet seats had cigarette burns from students that would smoke in there.
Really?
Yeah, that's what those little markings on it was.
And even then, you gotta go to the bathroom and like do it with carts. Like, I mean, teacher turns away for a second.
Yeah, I know. People vape in class.
In the
like, all
auditorium.
time. Yeah.
Just because there's no lights, right? As soon as the darkness is there, the devil takes over, and before you know it, you're consuming drugs and alcohol.
And there's pandemonium, and then you have to build a bunker and fall in love with another man.
Whoa,
Because
whoa.
everybody started with it.
It all comes full circle.
It all comes full circle.
I
And that man is
suppose.
Diddy.
I suppose while we're talking about sinful acts, we're talking about, or maybe not even sins if you don't believe in that, but at the very least things that are potentially detrimental to your well-being.
Did you quit like
Yes.
you did? I know. Good job.
Gambling. This is another one.
Gambling.
This is another one that you can easily become addicted to. People don't even really perceive it that way.
Addiction.
Things like parlays, things like
Yeah, that
opening
shit's
packs
criminal.
on FIFA, things like opening
Yeah.
packs on, what is it, Overwatch and CSGO.
Yeah, everything.
Buying chess.
Everything
and
has
Clash
something like that in this
Royale.
day and age.
That is considered gambling, and that is, or can be anyway, very addicting, especially to young children who are not accustomed to these dopamine releases.
Especially
I
the D-Bear we
avoid live
talked about.
service games for that reason.
You don't
I
like.
hate the way they always just get to a point where like, you know, initially it's like pay $1, get 100 gems. That
Yeah.
should do it. But then they add shit that costs like 3,000 gems, and now they're like spend even more money.
That's
Like what I showed you on Raw Stars earlier, the
Yeah.
fucking
Yeah.
$50 gem pack, and it was like 10% bonus gems.
fucking dollars. Can you imagine if they launched with that offer like, on the front page?
That's, well, they probably, no one would ever buy the game. But that's like mobile app 101 too. Like they love trying to suck people in to make purchases.
But they've moved that into consoles, PC markets, like everywhere.
I don't find
It's profitable.
I don't find it terrible if what you can buy is only a cosmetic and you're just buying the cosmetic. I mean, they're too expensive, but you're just buying it. You don't have to open packs to hope you get it.
Like Fortnite.
Yeah, like if you just can buy the skin you want, you don't have to worry about fucking spending money to get the specific thing you want. You can just spend what it is and buy it. It is too expensive, fucking regardless, but
Definitely.
Yeah.
at least you can just buy what you want to buy. That's way better than like, oh, I'm gonna open these fucking packs.
And then juxtapose that idea where it's only cosmetic, GTA. Shark cards, and this means, you know, the difference of having a Mark II oppressor or just having an armored Karuma, you know? It's,
As soon as I got all
pay to
that
win.
shit, it just stopped being fun.
yeah, and so you pay the money,
GTA
and then you
was never
realize
fun
it
to
never
me.
mattered to begin
Yeah,
with.
like
It's incredible. It's
GTA
absolutely
was never
incredible.
once fun to me.
no.
I don't understand it.
I thought it was fun when me and my friends were trying to figure out how to get like from one side of the map to the other with no money, and we would be
Ah.
robbing people and getting in police chases and holding up convenience stores. Being poor in GTA is fun.
It is.
It's just the fact that everybody is rich and they make it not fun.
Yeah, like when you
I
just
just
get...
don't see the point. I don't understand what the point of like GTA Online is, because like I'm not gonna shit on the story mode because it's a story game, so I don't, and I never played it, so I don't
I'll
know.
shit on the story.
Is it good? I don't.
The
I never.
story is good. The gameplay is like drive here, shooting gallery.
Rudimentary.
They give you this huge map, and they're like, go here, go here, go here,
Dude,
go
yeah.
here. Follow
You
the
can
way.
only play as this character for now. Like, come on.
I just don't.
How is that a sandbox?
Let me apply myself.
Going back to what you were saying, I think one of the major facets you're missing out on is, like, it's something that you really can only enjoy with other people.
I've done I've done a couple heists,
Like,
with a full squad
Like,
or whatever.
me and Dan, for instance, like, the only reason I can say, like, I don't, like, it's, the only reason why I can't say that I don't like it is because, like, me and Dan used to fly over to this island, and we would call this Island Corp. And, like, we made, like, this whole thing, and, like, you know, but it's, you with the people that you play with, you make the most of it. The game itself, I'll be honest, I'm not playing that by myself, really.
Yeah. Like I just think I'm thinking of a Logan. Like he used to always like I forget what it is exactly. He would like steal a car and like drive it to a place
You know, like sell it.
and sell it, and like how if you didn't damage it at all, it'd be way more expensive and shit like that.
Yeah.
He would just do that. Like
Export garage. Yeah, it's a grind.
that's just not fun.
Well, the driving mechanic is one of the funner aspects of it, too.
But not when you're doing it for like a pocket change
Yeah.
1,000 times a day to get like Compressor Mark II that you can't even use to deliver the cars.
Yeah, yeah. It's that's another offensive aspect too. Is you waste all this time to get all this money to buy all these things. You can't even use most of the things. Why? Who made this decision at Rockstar?
I just feel like it's like a story mode game. They took out the story, but you made it so you can play with other people. And I just don't understand what there is to do. But I guess you just gotta be creative. So
Yeah, it's
Imagination. That's why you mine and I build. I started a Minecraft server.
That's why you mine.
I had a Minecraft world as
Do
well.
you have a PC?
I don't. I think can you not do cross-platform with that?
No, we got what's it
I think
called?
so,
No, you
'cause
can't.
Consoles have Bedrock and
Okay.
we use Java.
Okay.
Yeah, we got a realm going though. So if you did get one, you could just fucking
Yeah,
join
hop in.
in.
Or maybe in the future.
Yeah.
If I ever get a PC, we'll see.
Hey, maybe one day fucking Java will be on what's it called. I don't know why it couldn't be. I don't understand that.
I've always just liked games where the reward of playing the game is getting better at it. But I feel like now people need to be rewarded to keep their attention, you know?
And what kind of rewards are you talking about? Like
Beat the mission, get a point towards your new gun skin, or
I see.
get enough credits
like
to
Call of
buy
Duty.
something, yeah.
I am set. Fuck, I fell to that. I feel like I do kind of like that.
Old arcade
Doing
games,
something and then getting something for it.
And I could totally be like, you know, this is outdated thinking because I am like 1,000 years old, but old arcade games,
you look good for your age.
thank you. It's the adrenochrome. It takes the full.
I'm glad.
I'll say, you'll get an email.
How many kids do you need for that?
You'll get an email.
Okay.
Old arcade games, the only like reward you get for beating it and doing well is a score on the board.
Okay.
Just to be like,
Yeah.
I am 5th on the leaderboard. I am that good.
Things like Slither
The more you do it, the more you feel yourself like getting better at it. I love games like that,
Okay.
but I feel like that kind of design has fallen off a little bit.
It definitely has a little bit.
There's always, unlocks are good too. I don't mind like unlocks, but
What I will say
It's
about
tricky.
unlocks, one of the places where I feel like it makes the least sense. Have you ever played the WWE 2K franchise games, or even the SmackDown vs. Raw ones?
Mike plays those fucking games all the time. He buys everyone.
Me and my brother used to watch it so much growing up. This is like fundamental in my childhood. So I used to play those games, and the system that they have in that is you have to play all aspects of the game in order to unlock the wrestlers,
Okay.
and that always annoyed me. Which is why I was really happy when they added in something called locker codes, which is basically just cheat codes that allows you to unlock the wrestlers and all of the the belts and the different arenas and rings, whatever. And that is something that I really loathe companies for getting rid of. Cheat codes. Come on. If someone is going out of their way to figure out, these sort of Baroque techniques to be able to play your game more, why are you not even allowing that in the game anymore? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Minecraft, that's what makes Minecraft so great. You can put in console commands.
The thing with the WWE game
True.
is you use it the way you use toys, like action figures. Like,
Yeah.
I want Hulk Hogan to fight Dwayne Johnson in the ring with, the Grimace.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
Mike
That's
does
what we
that.
do.
Mike
But-
has Jeff in there. I'm a character in there. All the fucking young lads.
It's cool.
Created in there.
My favorite thing is when you kind of combine the two, like, you take that skill thing, you got better at doing something some way, and you're rewarded specifically for it. Like, beat the game in under 15 minutes, unlock. Actually, Nuclear Throne does this. If you beat the game in under 10 minutes, you get a skin for the fastest character.
Yeah.
If you beat the game as every character, you get something for the original character. If you beat the game if you play as the hardest character, now beat him without getting hit. And it's like, I love when rewards and conditions are based on what you've done to unlock them. Beat the game fast, get fast.
I feel that you really only see that with sort of like puzzle games, or what kind of game is like the original Mario Kart considered? Or not Mario Kart, the original Mario considered?
Platformer.
The platformers, yes.
Platformer.
I feel like that you really only see that with these more old-fashioned-esque games, but I'm not sure why. Because if anything, that is exactly what a game like GTA needs. Because once again, there's no intrinsic value to anything you're doing online.
No. Well, again, Mario is one of those games where the reward of beating it is being faster. Even beating the game is hard as shit. Because every time you run out of lives, it's not like New Nintendo where they're like, oh, sorry, you ran out of lives. Here's 10 more and a binky. If you lose all your lives in Mario 1, back to the beginning.
Yeah, what is the sound effect they have? There we go. That's classic. That's iconic, and it's because it's so impactful.
Oh, it goes doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo.
Yes, that is it.
It sounds like losing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
It sounds like losing.
It sounds like you've lost. Yeah.
It's incredible how much like those limitations inspired creativity because they couldn't put music in. They had to convey like you lose through sound.
It's like a score in a film.
Yeah, every piece like it's. I mean, at a glance, archaic. Like if I showed the old Mario to like somebody who only played COD, they'd think it's boring.
Yep.
But the more you look at these older games, the more you see little bits of like genius from them.
Yeah.
And there wasn't the same limitations we have now, where like we know what's popular, we know what people like, do it this way, follow the formula.
And that's why we get the same fucking COD, same Madden, same 2K
Right.
every fucking year.
It was a no man's land. They were just like
They built a prototype that was successful, and they just
Yeah.
copied and pasted.
They just make it worse.
I think it was Miyamoto. Miyamoto does Zelda. And
Yeah,
Mario.
I think. I
He
think that's the guy who does it.
the reason he made The Legend of Zelda isn't because he played an action game and was like, I'm going to do it my way. It's because he went out into the woods and found a cave. And he was like, wouldn't it be cool to just go out into the woods, find a cave, and there be something in the cave? There could be anything in there. Treasure, a monster. That's why he made Zelda.
That's awesome.
It's not because he was like, well, people like it when you have a parry mechanic. It tends to do well.
Yeah. After doing my data analysis.
Yeah, but that's just Zelda. That you say people like the cave. In the new Zelda, Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, those parry people like the parry system. Those ideas were definitely thought about when they were making the newer Zelda games.
But
And that's why they're just not. I mean,
that feeling of
They're fun,
exploration is like throughout every iteration of Zelda that I know of. That feeling of exploration, going into the cave and finding something, persists through every single game. It's like in the DNA of Zelda.
Yeah.
It's this
you go up
childlike wonder.
every single Zelda game, you fucking see a rock on a high mountain, and you can go up there and lift that rock, and you will get something.
Or even Death Mountain, you see a huge volcano
Yeah.
that you can see from everywhere. You're like, I want to go up there. And if you go up there, something's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Something cool.
Conceptually, just the idea, people don't really fathom this. Like, people like movies, people like songs. Video games are supposed to be considered a form of art.
Yeah.
It is interactive entertainment. It's just a movie that you get to play.
Yeah.
But then you have this aspect of businesses coming in and just ruining things like they're so inclined to do. They love ruining things.
Standards and practices.
Yeah, it's because it's greed for some reason is one of the only traits that everyone knows is horrible, and yet you're just expected to do.
Yeah.
Mm,
It's nonsense,
Yeah.
utter nonsense.
violence, lust. I guess any of the 7 sins.
Yeah,
We all know it's bad. We do it anyway.
well, some of us try our best not to. Of course, though, if you want to talk about the seven deadly sins, that's a religious thing,
Yeah.
But
That's like, but the idea of those is that they're baked into us, kind of like wonder in Zelda, sins in us. If it was easy to just be like, I'm not going to do this and not do it,
Yeah.
everybody would go to heaven.
I would argue too, though, an aspect of it is simply choice. It's not even that.
Yeah.
It's not like I don't know. Like
But you have to choose to defy those urges. That's what makes it noble.
your local priest, for instance. It's not like he's never thought about having sex with someone.
Right.
Evidently, from the Catholic priests raping children,
They think about it a lot.
they thought about it too much almost.
Mhm.
The difference between the local priest and your average collegiate student, one says no a lot more than the other says yes.
Right. Like,
Um,
they resist it.
yeah.
If there was no urge to begin with, there would be no struggle. There would be no honor in that.
Even the honorability. You want to talk about honor?
I guess, I don't know. You know, like what I mean? Like what's the word? Valiance, I guess. It's
Integrity.
maybe integrity, but just there's like almost an idea like if you think these things, you go to hell. But if I never felt lust, if I was born with no dick, no balls, and probably no asshole because I feed on radiation, and I never feel any sexual attraction, I live my whole life without wanting to fuck somebody, should I be rewarded for that?
I see.
As opposed to if I was
Well-
the horniest dude who ever lived and I never fucked
I don't
once,
think you should be rewarded either way.
you were rewarded with heaven.
Oh. But
Or praise even.
Well,
Like,
to be fair, every person was supposed to go to heaven. It
Mhm.
just so happens Adam and Eve chose to perform the first sin,
like the first people. Just
and then
fucked everything up.
and then through which everyone became sinful by nature. You know what I mean? So like,
fuck those motherfuckers then, bro. What the hell?
Yeah, for real.
I didn't know they were the reason I was such a dickhead.
no, I see. Now that's the thing. It's not even that you're a dickhead, and it's not even like they were dickheads. The devil came in and he convinced them that God was a liar. God doesn't care about you. Sure, he made everything for you. Sure, he made you, but he doesn't care about you. Eat this apple. Or actually, it was a fig.
Listen.
It was a fig.
In the Bible, it just does not say what it was.
Yes,
It doesn't say it was an apple.
the reason is because the Bible that we read is actually considered. This was voted in by a religious authority, and there exists a whole plethora of books that are now called the Apocrypha, which means basically like bad Bible books.
Okay.
So what? That was like stuff that
If
is
you-
not in today's Bible.
If you read the Apocrypha, there's the book of Adam and Eve. They talk about all of it. They talk about the full life of Adam and Eve.
Really?
Yes, they talk about the fig tree. They talk about the consequences of their actions and how sorrowful they were.
Because I've just read the King James version.
KJV is literally the worst. That's if the devil ever made a Bible, it'd be that.
Damn, what a fool I am.
No, it's not your fault. It's the
I
fault
got
of
fooled
everyone
by
else.
For the freaking Debbie.
It's the fault of everyone else. I mean, most people, frankly, they want to simply think that they are good.
Mm-hmm.
They do not want to figure out what good is.
Mm.
Well, so then there's only so much you'll be able to know.
Mm-hmm.
And do.
Which information is what God
If you don't
is
know how to
sending
be
in
good,
this
you can't
mess.
do how to be good.
And
That's
knowledge.
true.
Knowledge is what God is sending this mess.
But there is another thing as well. This is the idea, like I was saying before, the Holy Spirit. You know, the beauty of the Holy Spirit is even if you do not know, you can feel. If you do something wrong, you feel bad about it.
Mm-hmm.
You may not know why you feel bad about it, but you certainly know that you ought to apologize and repent. And to repent, religious authorities, maybe they do not truly understand this, but to repent is just to change the way you're acting.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that.
I think that kind of aligns with what I think God is. Because I'm not, I don't know, I'm not like too religious. But
I'd hope most people weren't, honestly, because religion is only an effort at spirituality. It is not spirituality.
No, but I used to think that, you know, I was one of those atheists, like there is no heaven, there is no hell, just a dull gray when you die. But now, as I've lived and matured, I'm realizing that there are definitely things that you can't measure, things we cannot understand, things that go beyond us. And I almost want to draw my diagram of like my thought process here. You know what? Fuck it. You can
Feel free to, yeah.
We'll put the video. All right, so we're gonna do it Spinoza style. He's closest. Ex-cameras is very talk about him. So, starting from the bottom, to me, everything and Spinoza, everything exists in like 3 tiers. So, you got objects. We're gonna call that objects.
Okay. First tier.
And so I wrote objects on the board. And for my favorite example is we're gonna use a flower.
But even a flower is a living thing, though.
A living thing is also counts under this category.
So, like, you yourself are
I'm
not.
in this category.
Okay.
You're in this category. This whole school is in this category. So, every single object is almost an image of an attribute or a quality. So, for example, flowers are beautiful to some. And you can't measure how beautiful a flower is. There's no rhyme or reason to it. You just have to feel it. That you are drawn to the beauty of the flower. Sunsets, however, are also beautiful. So how can these two entirely separate things evoke such a similar feeling? They must be descended of a similar attribute. Now, the Spinoza shit says every single attribute can be almost perfected. You know how, like, you see something beautiful, but it isn't beauty. Like, flowers are beautiful.
I thought the whole saying is like beauty is imperfection or something.
Beauty is whatever the hell you want it to be. Man. It's in the eye of the beholder.
Yeah,
it's
true.
not something we can, like, measure out. So, sunsets are beautiful, flowers are beautiful, and it works for any attribute. It can be ugly, like, ugliness produces poop and hogs and Jeffries, and, or, you know, bravery, you get, like, heroes and legend, whatever. The point is, an attribute can produce many objects, and they do overlap at times. So this is also a little mix of like Socrates. Socrates believes in forms. So he thinks that if these can be beautiful, they both can be beautiful, but they're not beautiful to everybody. There has to be a perfect beautiful. Something that we don't understand, have not seen, something so beautiful that we can't even comprehend, that everything gets these qualities from, that we just can't perceive. We don't have the means. Which kind of goes to this. I'm going to call it the sauce.
The sauce.
The sauce. There is the sauce. There's sauces now. The sauce contains every single attribute ever. It is the most beautiful thing ever. It is the most terrifying thing ever. It is the most beautiful thing ever. I already said that. Ugly thing ever.
Amazing.
Amazing, incredible, unbelievable, horrific, terrible, nasty. It's everything is evoked by the sauce. And Spinoza argues that two sauces cannot share attributes. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So, another sauce can't be beautiful, can't be ugly, can't be hot or cold or...
How many sauces does he think there are? There's infinite sauces?
Well, if this sauce has every attribute, and sauces can't share attributes, my brother, there is only one sauce, and that is God.
Okay. Now, I like your rationale, and I think the amount of thought you've put into reality as a whole is admirable. Here's what I will say. There is a very stark difference between you and, say, an ape.
Mm-hmm.
The evolutionists will say there isn't. You were born from the same common ancestor, but only one of you was made in the image of God.
Okay.
And so this is where the concept of change comes, right? Repentance.
Mm.
I was watching this very interesting lecture on spiritual warfare, and one of the priests, or he was aspiring to be a priest, and so he went to this lecture. He posed the question, can angels repent?
But if there's no sin...
Well, there are fallen angels, though. Like that's
Oh,
Lucifer,
like
right?
Lucifer,
That's
yeah,
the
the
evil
devils.
one. Yeah, that's the devil. Can they repent? And the answer is no. And why is that?
Because they're evil.
They're not in the image of God. So there's two types of creations that God has made: external and internal.
Mm-hmm.
A flower is external. That's not God. That's a thought that God had. You, I, Freddie, you say you're horrible, but you can't be horrible if you're made after him.
That is true.
I think I can kind of incorporate that into this, though. So
Okay.
I went up.
Yeah.
We went big. You said man, ape, flower, they're all biology, they're all different. But here, let's give him as an example. This flower, this guy, and whatever the hell that is, they all have DNA. And DNA is made up of molecules. And molecules are made up of even smaller molecules.
Mm-hmm.
I also believe if you go all the way down to, again, a point we cannot understand, then you just end up back at the sauce again. It's almost like an infinite circle that we are in the center of. And
Yeah.
outside is all God. It's all sauce.
Yeah, well,
Up, down,
But-
whatever.
who's the master creator? Who created everything?
Who created everything?
The sauce.
It'd be God.
Yeah, he is everything. He created everything.
He's the
So-
sauce.
There's only one answer.
God.
The question is, how well are you capable of compartmentalizing that phrase?
What phrase?
That phrase that God is everything.
God is everything?
Because that requires a lot of brain meats. For instance, there will be people
That's
who...
Dashi mentioned right there. Is that Dashi line?
I can't.
No.
Brain meats?
I'm not even like.
Dashi said that?
He does say that.
I got that from... Oh, yeah, Dashi!
Yeah,
I thought you were talking about KSI's brother.
No.
What's his name?
Deji.
Okay.
But
Yeah, that is Dashi.
I'm not even totally like convinced of any of this because again, I am trying to understand this, but I am this,
Mm-hmm.
and the distance between me and even this is infinite. So the distance between me and the outer circle, fuck, dude, not even a quibulate or whatever you said. I can't even get close.
Well, hold on now, because you say you're acting as if you're separated from it.
I'm made of it.
it's a matrix. Everything is interconnected.
Oh, you're right.
This is you know, I mean, even if you don't want to talk about God, like this is in the Bible, but even if you don't want to use God for this, that's also scientific principle in quantum mechanics. Nothing is not touching. Everything is all within a matrix.
Yeah.
So does that change your perspective on this at all?
Well, now I'm starting to think that these might not just be flat circles. They're more like, this is third dimension, even fourth or fifth dimension, or even like just something in a way we cannot perceive it, but we can feel it.
Okay, and this is another thing. Have you ever heard of the flower of life?
What's the flower of life?
Flower of life was an image developed by the ancient Sumerians, in addition to the emerald tablets. Well, actually, the emerald tablets were technically, they theorized that it was given to them. And that is, the ancient Sumerians believe that. So this is the flower of life. That is a series of interconnected circles.
I see it.
It's amazing that you're saying all this diagram because, once again, everything being interconnected in a matrix, that is life in and of itself. This idea that we have all of these sort of, how would you describe these circles? These are attributes?
Attributes, God, or the sauce.
So yeah, so the inner circle would be an attribute.
In the middle dots.
Would be the objects?
Yes, and in some way, like, it almost seems like these attributes kind of bend in towards certain dots, and like some of them even overlap.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah.
So it is a matrix.
Yeah.
Everything is connected.
And looking at the flower of life, can you not see how everything is also in perfect design? Like Cliff said, right? If we were 100 feet further from the sun, if we were 100 feet closer to the sun, we would either burn alive or it would be too cold.
It's like an infinitely regressing spider web.
Well, you say regressing, but how can it be regressing if we're infinitely expanding?
I mean, like you zoom in or out, and it just keeps spider web, spider web, spider web, spider web. Everything is connected in ways I can't even understand.
Yeah. See, now what you're starting to comprehend now is what truly infinity and eternity are.
That's the outer circle.
The outer circle is everything that ever could be, will be, and is. The inner circle is what exists now. That's the present. That's the confines of time.
And I guess the devil is chaos.
All I know is when you get a picture of this shit's gonna be really hard to follow
understand,
how we're talking
I
about.
don't know if you want to like put whiteouts on where I was talking, or if this is too confusing.
No, I think you should definitely put the picture in there.
I think the best case scenario is I just take a picture of it, and so as we're talking, and I'll leave the picture. And it's not going to be like I usually do it, like with the clips of the Vegas, where it's like 10 seconds and then it's gone. I'm literally just going to leave it up for this entire period that we're talking about it, because I think it's almost like you gave a lecture on this.
Yeah.
That's just my thoughts, I guess.
We still haven't really talked about Panda Mike though.
Good. We still have a lot of time, honestly. Still got like fucking 40 minutes at least.
I think that is a beautiful thought that you put together there, and like I said, I admire how much thought you've put into reality.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to know what's up. I never will, but it's kind of fun to try, you know, like a dog chasing his own tail.
It's that pursuit, though. It's that pursuit that matters.
Mm-hmm. Gives him purpose. The why.
I would recommend too. If I were you, I would look up. I would Google beautiful, because you might not, with everything that you've said and how impactful it could be because of its relevancy and truthfulness. You should probably fix the word beautiful.
Why? You were really?
You.
It does not look.
Is that an A in the middle there?
It's pretty bad handwriting. But here's another thing that, again, like how these attributes overlap not only with objects, they overlap with each other. Beauty and ugly are the same thing. You could show me the most beautiful, baddest, big-titted, fat vagina broad in the world. And
Wow.
I would
That is a wild.
You can bleep out,
That's wow.
You can bleep out as much of that as you want. How about, okay, you could show me the most beautiful painting ever. A painting
Okay.
that just resonates within my soul. I can't quantify it. I can only say, this is beautiful to me. You show it to Fred, and he's like, ugh, fuck that, man. I don't get it. You know?
Okay.
Or then Fred will be like, this is the greatest song I've ever heard. It speaks to my soul. My skull is ringing like a dropped cup. And you play it to me, and I'm like, I don't know, it just sounds like John Mayer.
Just sounds like.
I guess too, what this brings me to the question of is, so you say that the sauce is everything and the sauce is God. So that's to say that you believe that God is evil, and He is also good.
Okay. Then it goes into like a binary, huh? Actually, kind of, because the way there can't be only beautiful and only ugly. If you have the ultimate sauce or the good, doesn't that mean just by nature of it existing there has to be an equal and opposite?
It's pretty good. It makes sense. I mean, let's just think about something like you talked about how you can break everything down to atomic levels, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have electrons, neutrons, protons.
Yeah.
You can either be negatively charged, positively charged, or have no charge.
It exists molecularly, mathematically, morally. It pierces every layer. It's crazy. The metric, this does not do whatever I'm trying to do justice.
That's fine.
My goal in life is to draw this as close to correct as I can get it, basically.
I would honestly recommend using the flower of life in the center, and then just making the sauce whatever.
That's true.
And then you could also add the dots within the flower of life.
The flower, it is kind of funny how I just created some shit that came up with 5,000 years ago. I'm way behind.
Well, that's here's the thing. Here's another thing, right? You want to talk about truthfulness and reality. If it's true then and true now, it's probably true, right?
Mm-hmm.
If it's true then and it's no longer true, it probably was never true.
Mm.
The Bible. There's a lot in there. People love to say that it contradicts itself. I would argue they don't understand what it's saying then. But there's a lot in there. You're talking about literally, but even before Jesus Christ. Even before, and I love that too. How do we keep our calendars? How do we keep our timing of the years?
Christ.
Based off of Jesus.
BC.
And then they tried to change it to before Common Era and Common Era. Okay.
Come on.
Okay.
Everybody knows Christ.
Yeah, everyone knows that.
Everybody knows that guy.
There's no
Everybody knows
That's like
it.
the one guy everybody knows.
Yeah,
Fun
true.
fact, literally, you say that literally, there's no one who is talked about more in literature than Jesus Christ.
Because isn't Jesus Christ pretty much, even if they don't call him Jesus Christ, isn't he like the God of all religions? Or like he takes that of most religion?
Yeah,
What do you mean?
The three
Because like
main
Jewish people,
Jewish
like
people,
fucking, yeah.
They don't believe in him.
I thought they did.
but they believe in God.
No, they reject Jesus as being the Messiah.
Right. So
But they can't deny that he was fucking real.
They deny he was God.
Well, you say that actually.
But
That was a big thing in the past. People literally just used to say Jesus wasn't real because you couldn't find his body.
mm-hmm.
Do you know how many ancient rulers we couldn't find the bodies of? How many pharaohs we couldn't find the bodies of?
Because we've been eating them.
I'm not going to say anything about that. But
it'll be in the email.
But along with the quantity of kids.
Right. The adrenochrome.
Adrenochrome. Is it true that they have to be scared in order to produce that?
It's like a lobster. You know, it tastes better when you boil it alive.
There it is. Lord have mercy.
Every layer. It's insane.
Yeah, it all comes full circle. Panda Mike, though, he was in Vegas. We're gonna stray. We're gonna stray from this.
I just want to say one more thing about this because I didn't consider this before. But if that sauce being connected to everything is what makes it good, then evil has got to be whatever tries to sow disruption through it.
Harmony versus chaos.
Right. That aspect of like everything could be perfect, but something just fucks up every time. Whenever we make something beautiful, something ugly comes out. Whenever we try to make Stairway to Heaven, somebody makes stick of it. There's bars and all that.
Someone makes
You want to talk about Stairway to Heaven? If you reverse Stairway to Heaven, it actually says some of the most heinous shit I've ever heard in my life.
Really.
Is that AC/DC?
No,
That's
it's
Led
Led Zeppelin.
Oh, Led Zeppelin.
Led Zeppelin,
The
yeah.
goats.
Like I want you to Google that.
Highway to Hell is AC/DC. That's it.
Stairway.
It's kind of similar, isn't it?
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of those kind of get debunked. Those like play the song backwards. They say this. 'Cause
In what way?
They take the jarble and they interpret it in a way that sounds close, but there's still your interpretation.
What do you mean interpreting?
Like they'll play the SpongeBob theme backwards, and now instead of saying SpongeBob lives in a pineapple, now it's saying Snow froze his balls. So
See,
you
that-
hear
that-
that, and you're like, okay, Snow froze his balls.
I understand that. This with Led Zeppelin is different though.
Was it intentional?
I can't even say that's intentional. It seems more so like whatever force, what I say whatever as if I don't know what it is, but whatever force is causing this chaos, it seems almost as if they went in and attempted to make it so that you could perceive the song as being good,
Or you.
and in actuality, you're doing something bad.
I like that.
Because a major aspect of the devil is, of course, you talk about heaven and hell. No one wants to go to hell. But if you make it seem like a beautiful path down there, then who would know the difference?
And even to make something beautiful like Stairway to Heaven or Jimi Hendrix's music, like, think about the struggle, the suffering they had to go through. Every step that contributes to something great and close to God is just somehow intertwined with bad. And I think that's why we just can't reach them.
It's not always inherently bad. Like this idea of suffering, for instance. This goes along with the integrity we were talking about before.
Or even the opposite.
Like-
Suffering builds character.
Right.
Yeah.
It can be a source of growth, or it can be, or you can suffer in a manner in which you're performing this cycle whereby you are literally just decaying.
You can be bad usually, or like, no, you're right, because
You can also suffer, like for instance, with football. It is utter suffering to do those practices. It is utter suffering to run sprints after you've been running around for an hour as hard as you could.
right.
But you grow.
But if I only did that, my like academics or my studying or whatever things I pretend to do would decline unless I also fostered that. And we can't juggle all of these eggs at once. So to get better at one thing means to get worse at something else, even if you don't immediately realize it. You know?
This is a concern of, I say concern, it's not really a concern so much as it is, I suppose it's an aspect of spiritual warfare, right? Because here I am learning all of these scientific books where they say things like, and this is a marketing principle, this is a real marketing principle that they tried to teach me and have me believe. You can be unethical, but be socially responsible. You can be socially irresponsible, but be ethical. Oh, I see. So you can damage people's lives, but so long as you walk up to your mother and say, I hope you had a good day today,
Or you
then there we
learn
go.
from
There's
it,
Huh?
or like learning from it.
What do you mean?
Like, wouldn't that be ethically responsible? Like, you do something bad, but you learn from it?
That's not even what they're talking about.
No.
They literally are just talking about the delineation of the two, which is to say a corporate entity can do things that an individual can't. And they can be effectively ethical in the sense of being socially responsible.
It's the most American thing I've ever heard.
Well, that's the most devilish thing I've ever heard in my life. And this is, once again, you want to talk about why businesses ruin everything? It's because this is the pathologies they're believing in.
I read a joke on my algorithm before I came in here. An engineer goes to hell, and he realizes that it is way too hot in there, so he builds an air conditioner. And now hell is not so bad after all. So God comes down to check on the devil, and he sees that there's air conditioning and like Wi-Fi and a ping pong table. And he's like, what the fuck is all this? And Satan's like, oh yeah, an engineer came down here. And God says, well, you're going to have to send him back to us because by the contract, anybody who just works to improve, the world around them has to go to heaven. And the devil says, yeah, and where do you think you're going to find a lawyer?
Yeah. The Kamala Harris, for instance. The big thing with her, why she never became the president of the United States, because she tried, but she didn't, it's because when she was district attorney of California, she would intentionally incarcerate people who she knew were innocent, just so they could be added into the prison systems and do free labor for the state.
Yes, manufacturing, cleaning.
That's pretty horrible. And now you want to become the president of the United States. Yeah, well, I hope not. I hope to God not.
I guess if you're good at exploiting people, you'd make a good president.
Yeah.
We get cheap ass labor overseas.
But that's a business thing, though. That's not a government thing.
I guess business, government, not that different these days, I feel.
That's true. Once again, going back to marketing, they consider the government actually, they separate it from institutions and businesses, and that's pretty much it. Because it's like those are like the three main things.
State.
And they consider the government as pretty much nothing more as an entity through which you can sell and buy from.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's wonderful.
We're a business.
That's horrible, though. That is
It's
utterly
terrible,
horrible.
dude.
Freddie, I feel like we haven't talked very much to you, though.
Yeah, I guess. I ain't
What?
complaining. It does not affect
You
me, man.
enjoying it?
Yeah, I ain't
Oh,
gonna
there you go.
complain. You guys going?
What,
Do you have anything to say? Like,
what are your
Not
thoughts
really.
on
about
this?
God or the economy?
The economy and God? I don't
China.
know, man.
You know,
It's hard to say. I ain't a big, what's it called?
I
I,
don't
ain't
put you on the spot either, though.
I guess you kind of are,
I think
but
we're just putting you on the
Is there any way that you can like associate with anything we've said?
I mean, I feel like this right here, you guys talking about this is big, it's kind of, what's it called? Been enlightening, I guess
Makes
you could
sense.
say.
All right.
Yeah, alright, that's all I can hope for. Don't take it as 100% fact, I know you won't, because I made it. Well,
'Cause I made
It's
it.
derived a lot of like Spinoza's and Socrates and my own personal experiences with things, but
Well, you're speaking in human terms to very human people.
I am only one human and it takes a choir to talk to God,
True. We did already touch upon that.
but I don't know. Or maybe that's wrong. Maybe what every ant can, is according to this, some way connected to God. Like, everything is.
Well, once again, there's only one creator.
Mhm.
And what you were saying as well, to communicate with God versus to try and produce the same sounds as Him, very different, very different.
Yeah.
Every
that's true.
single human being can choose to be in a relationship with God, and God will take you on with open arms. With that being said, your choices really do matter.
It's just so weird. We can never seem to find the top or the bottom of anything.
This brings me to, this is a concept that I had as well after taking philosophy of law, because we had discussed how there's basically, so you know the concept of natural law, right? John Locke.
Give me a refresher.
So natural laws would be things like life, liberty,
In the pursuit of happiness.
yes, and U.S. for some reason took it to mean property, which is which is like okay, but yeah, so it's this idea that everyone is free to live their own lives, liberty. That's effectively like the umbrella term for all of his beliefs, but that's a concept. In application, the U.S. is not necessarily the magnum opus, an exemplary of liberty.
Nope.
It's only an effort at it.
And you know what happened is we tried to go for liberty, and every step towards liberty was played with its opposite. It's evil. Like, for every bit of generosity, greed.
Yeah.
For every act of love, violence. That's why we have simultaneously the best and worst country in the world. That's an extreme, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I know what you
How
mean.
can we be so free and have so much opportunity and still be so fucking wretched?
Would you like to know the answer?
Yeah.
I was
I wasn't expecting that.
so there's only one good. It's like what you were saying, that's true. There's only one good.
Mhm.
And this idea of subjectivity and objectivity, do you know where the subjectiveness comes from?
Where?
It comes from free will. But there's only one truth, right?
Supposedly.
Well, you say supposedly,
I
but
guess that would be the sauce, would be truth.
there we go.
Okay.
So what is good? What is beautiful? What is all of this stuff?
Attributes of the
But-
sauce.
It's the sauce. The sauce is these things truly and perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
We can only perform our efforts. We can only attempt to apply those attributes.
Just like attributes can only attempt to be the sauce. In a way.
Because that's incomplete.
So the sauce is beautiful, so beauty exists, but now ugliness exists because it can't be its own sauce. I like that. Yeah, this is all just. I mean, maybe it's schizophrenic, but
No, I mean this is well, once again,
at a glance it looks
it's a
pretty-
big old world. Never mind the world, it's an entire universe, right? And on top of that, it is very possible to decompartmentalize, right? Like I say the universe, you know what I'm talking about. We can decompartmentalize and say Earth. We can talk about the solar system. We can talk about the galaxies. We all understand that.
Mhm.
For some reason, as soon as it comes to the more, I guess the more ethereal aspects of God, right? Things like feelings, things like virtuosity,
Stuff you can't quantify.
stuff that you can't see. That's when we stop believing.
Mm.
That's when all of a sudden, oh, it's not God. It's just it's subjective.
Right.
Oh, it's not God. It's just I think one thing and he thinks another.
It's evolution.
Yeah.
It's not God, it's this. You know, kind of negating the fact that we can only see in 3 dimensions. We can only see in light, and we only have 2 eyes.
And not only that, think about this as well, right? You want to talk about being able to know everything. Here you are on Earth, and you see everything akin to an ant.
I was about to do the ant example.
And God is the human.
Mm-hmm.
Very different. You're talking about someone who exists in a dimension outside of space and time.
Yep.
And so everything that you believe you are coming into terms with, everything that you believe you understand, God is he's giggling. He's like,
Not even close.
On that note, though,
never getting
if I
any
walk
further.
out to what's it called? I've been the Satan to those fucking anthills multiple times.
well, I do this as well. Like my driveway, like I blow the dirt away. Like I'm not just gonna leave the ants there. That's ridiculous.
I mean, the hole is still there. You're not killing them.
Yeah, they just bring the dirt back anyway.
I mean, I've done worse than just blow the hole away.
Hey,
I
you
mean,
know
not
what?
recently, but when I was a kid.
What did you do?
When you were a kid, you never like fucking pour water in there, fucking fuck
Yeah.
with them.
I have. I mean, I burned them too. Like,
I never did that.
I played God.
Yeah, you played
I
God.
did the magnifying glass thing as a kid. Not much. It made me feel bad.
Yeah, it made me
That
feel-
bad feeling is definitely maybe an attribute or something out there, but
Yeah.
it's just DNA. So it's either something above me or below me. Yeah, I don't even know which direction everything's going in.
direction we can't even comprehend. Possibly.
Like if I see something beautiful, is it because of what's down here in the DNA and molecules, or is it because of what's up here, the abstract concepts of like time and beauty? I don't know. Yeah, I guess I'll do the terrarium example, because I know how to draw a cube, kind of. If I am living in this little, like, you know, terrarium,
A 3-dimensional plane.
I like, yeah, but we'll do the box, because I'm stupid. So, let's say I am one ant, and it's impossible for an ant to learn everything, because an ant can't remember everything, an ant can't write anything down. But let's just say somehow I am the world's smartest ant in a blacked out terrarium. Because ants see through smells, they can't smell what's going on the outside or whatever. Anyway, I'm in this terrarium. I can go around the entire terrarium 100 million times. I can count every single grain of sand 400 times. I can, and this is if I was the world's greatest ant, if I was the world's greatest human, I can count every grain of sand. I can measure the size of the box, and I can say, I know everything, because there's nothing left that I can sense.
Mm-hmm.
Little Lizzie knows
This is one ant in a terrarium. This guy doesn't know what taxes are. This guy's never had to tip a waiter.
lucky.
He has no idea, and I am that ant. He has no idea what's really going on, no matter how abstract his concepts, no matter how weird he gets with it.
I thought it was Homer for a second.
Is that supposed to be Zoidberg?
I don't know, it's just kind of just wrong.
Oh, he's kind of charming in a way. But, yeah. And here's the thing as well. I mean, you're talking about, once again, if you're in the image of God, it's not like he wants to keep everything from you.
No.
This is once again, we're talking about building a relationship with God. Ask and you shall receive. Every door that you knock upon shall be opened,
He would
but you
feed
must
me.
ask.
He will pile in the food, but I have to go and eat it.
Yeah, and you have to also have the humility to say, I'm trying to understand everything you have done, and I myself cannot do it.
And what if I were to be like, you know what, man? Fuck this. I just figured out how to get out of the terrarium. And I step outside. First of all, I'm fucking tiny. There's no way I'm going to understand the first thing I see.
Yeah.
And 2, probably going to get eaten by a bird.
Yeah, good luck trying to survive.
Like, it's so beyond me. And I hear this example for God. Like, God is so good that if you even, like, get near him, you will be evaporated like the sun if you have any impurity within you. If I am not totally prepared to leave the terrarium, I'm not going to survive. Or I'm just going to build another terrarium. I'm going to escape Plato's cave and then end up in a different cave.
Make up your own reality.
Like, even if the door to the bird cage were open, the cage is all I know. So even if I manage to get out of the cage for a little bit, if I don't immediately go back in, I'm going to try to find another cage. And be that cage an addiction. You know, I gamble to get away from the suffering. I or a house even.
Full
I've
circle,
been
yeah.
stuck to live in this house. I have to pay for it though. I can't get out of the terrarium.
Oh, wait, we didn't talk about gambling yet. Not full circle.
Yeah, we brought it up.
We
But
did.
it was
Yeah.
more in the overall addiction topic.
Yeah, we didn't talk. We stopped
We
talking
have
about
about 15
Panda Mike
minutes
though.
left now.
That is true.
Do you want to talk about Panda Mike for the last 15, or do you want to continue with this? I do have something to add about this.
I feel like this is good, and I don't want to rag on Mike for his, you can cut this part out. Everybody's losing money. That was
That's
the
what happens when you
significance of that story.
gamble.
They're all down.
Yeah.
They've all lost hundreds of dollars.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the expression "the house always wins" did not come about
Yeah.
for no reason.
Hey, you know what? I told my friends that.
The house
We
always
were
wins.
all in the casino together, and they come back. I lost. They had won, and they're like, "No, see, Jeff, you can make money on gambling."
Yeah.
There's more ants in the terrarium, and I'm like, the house always wins, and they're like, "No, we just won." Then they just go into a different house, and the house wins.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the greater, the attribute, the greater concept of a casino just always wins.
Well, here's
So
the
they
thing.
said no, we just won, but there's no way that they're up in gambling.
Now
all
they're
the
back
time.
down.
Even if you win, though, like if I went and I gambled and I won $200, I wouldn't be up in my total
I
gambling.
probably wouldn't be either. But it's relative to when you're winning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
State of mind.
The house always wins. There's no way you can
House
fucking
always wins.
go against that. See, we won. Yeah, for now.
All. I mean, maybe not always. I don't know, but
Right. And
there's a reason. So
There's a reason they're in business.
yeah.
there's this aspect of the cage as well. Sometimes it is the devil who is trying to keep us
In
contained.
the cage.
Yeah. And sometimes we ourselves do it out of fear, out of discomfort, or because we're so comfortable in the cage.
I think that may be me. That relates to me.
And
I
there's
feel.
no way out of the cage. Have you ever seen Into the Wild?
It's because though as well.
Sorry, I'm really going crazy.
Into the Wilds. Which one is this?
He
Is-
goes out into the woods.
and he dies out
and he
there, right?
dies, and he
Yeah.
lives alone.
Yeah, never.
He
never.
wanted to get out of the terrarium, but outside of the terrarium is another terrarium. So yeah, now he's not bounded by the material, but he is. He still has to eat, so he can't not eat and walk forever. He has to sleep. There's always something just binding us.
Well, here's another aspect of that story that I implore you to understand.
Yeah.
It's not. He didn't die because he left the cage.
Hey, bad berries.
With that, and every time he met someone who was willing to just lend him a hand, he rejected them. All along the pathway, it was, I'm going to do it my way, my way, my way. And he
Yeah.
ended up dying his way.
Yeah.
Damn.
So that's another aspect, once again, where and you want to talk about the comfort thing.
And I believe that in him doing that, escaping dome number one, which, let's face it, we're all in dome number one, the smallest dome. Not only are we bound to the material, our bodies, our biology, but also material needs. Like, we live in a house because we're paying for it. Why not just jump houses, switch houses, because we own it, we pay it. All this arbitrary bullshit binds us to this layer. So he tried to get out of that. He just got stuck in the next terrarium, in the next layer of the bubble.
Yeah.
And maybe if he even found a way to get out of somehow his own biology, I don't know what. Now there's still gravity. There's still like time. How are you gonna break out of that? And it's like this. I told you this distance, like here, and even maybe here, goes on forever. So you can keep going up this scale. You're never gonna reach the top. It's forever, and you're never gonna reach the
But
bottom.
here's the thing, though. Would you want to? Like, this idea that people get in their minds, do you, like, would you, like, they want to be the god of their lives. They want to have absolute control. Do you really? Do you actually really want to have control over everything?
It'd be lonely.
Because in their minds, too, as well, what control means, what being God means, is just doing whatever they think is right.
Mm-hmm.
And so that means most of the things they experienced that made them who they were, they would have never had it be done.
Right.
And so you wouldn't even be who you are.
So in some ways, they'll be propagating things that you, technically in ultimate good, wouldn't want to.
If they were God, the whole world would be in a state of decay. And yet we still manage to grow by the grace of the true God.
Or, if they were God, they would become truth. It doesn't matter if right now it seems bad. If they are God, they're just,
Well, here's the thing.
that's their way, right?
Who's older? The one who made you and lived for an eternity, or the one who is coming upon eternity?
Oh, that is true. I guess I wouldn't have the mental capacity to.
It wouldn't be the
work
same.
it out. No.
It wouldn't be the same. No matter how you try and spin it, you could never be better than God.
No, we just end up in different bubbles. Maybe the biggest bubble is God. You know, the fact that you can't surpass the sauce.
Yeah, well, that's the thing though. It's like, is it really a bubble if you can literally just ask him to do anything? Like that's another aspect of it too. Like in the Garden of Adam and Eve, right? When they were in the Garden of Eden, where Adam and Eve lived, it was a finite place, sure, but just as well, God loved them so much that if they had asked for anything, there's a very good chance he would have made it for them. The point is, they didn't turn to God, they turned to themselves. They made their own decisions with the devil. And so now you're in a cage.
And that's why we have hands. Does that make sense? So,
I guess.
if a flower is something in the image of beauty, the attribute of beauty, then maybe our seemingly unique ability to create is a direct, almost like a downgrade, going down the ladder from God's ability to just like make anything.
Right.
He gave us the power not to make anything, but to manipulate his creations to an extent. So nothing we physically can do is going to go beyond that, but we still have been given a rare gift of creation. So maybe your idea that God exists in every human specifically, that might actually hold water, like going off of this logic.
I just want to expressly say I did not come up with that. That's in
from
the Bible. That's
yeah.
in the Bible.
But maybe there's truth in that. Maybe even if it isn't the ultimate sauce that we're imitating, like, because this wants to be perfect beauty, our hands, we want to be perfect creators. Even if we're trying to match a perfect creator that isn't God, he is still just trying to match the sauce. The real God. Do you know what I mean? So it could be that, it could be this. It could be we're directly God, it could be there's a million in-betweens, but I feel like our ability to create has a huge significance on some spiritual level.
You are made in the image of God. If God can create with his voice, if God can do works, he even uses the expression, deliver from my hands.
Mm-hmm. But his hands are many and ours are only two.
The image of God, like that expression cannot be understated.
No. Like, or even how you said with the choir. God, it takes a million voices to not even get close to one God's voice. How many hands does it take to create?
Well, but how many hands does it take to create all of creation, including heaven, including the world?
Limitless hands through every circle, every fiber. Down here, and it creates itself, it's derived from itself. Fucking insanity to me, man.
You know what this reminds me of, though?
What?
And that's why I laughed a little. These lines and all this stuff reminds me of your auto furnace.
My auto furnace? Oh yeah, I built a furnace in Minecraft and got called a psychopath.
Why?
Not by me.
By Jane, because I made a system and I had like signs that was like, if you put the fuel in here,
That's
it'll go
what
into the
this is
chest, and then you put the stuff in here, and then it'll go into the and whatever. And it seemed really complicated, but whenever I tried to simplify it, you saw this, it just broke. So maybe it wasn't that psychotic.
It's just like the signs and the lines you had. That's just all that this reminds me of.
I'm actually really in. Can you like send me a picture of this? Because I would love to see it.
It doesn't have
the
the
furnace.
Yeah, of the automatic furnace.
Do you want me to draw it?
It doesn't have the signs.
Like,
on
I
it
want to.
anymore.
I want to like actually see it in Minecraft because
Sure.
I'm potentially gonna make it one day.
I'll make it really fast here.
Okay.
So this is my chest. I put a chest up here on top of a hopper, and the hopper connects to the furnace. And I had a sign on it that said fuel. I think I still have the fuel sign.
Yeah.
So you put all your fuel type items, your woods, your logs, your charcoals, your coal, and it puts it into the furnace. And the only slot in the furnace it can fill is down here. So the fuel goes in the bottom one.
Well, what's weird though is there's no, so it doesn't have the opportunity, because if you put like logs in there, for instance, that could also be burned into charcoal.
Mm-hmm. So
Well, we have not
then
done
if you
that.
want to make charcoal, this is the raw stuff. You put the log in the raw stuff, you put the food, the uncooked ore, and it puts it in the top slot, so they cook each other.
So is that because of the placement of the hoppers too, that it goes into the slots? Or is it just dependent on...
Well, if I have one hopper, it'll just take like coal, and then just keep taking coal over and over and over
Right,
again. But
right.
with this, it's taking from both. So then it just dumps it all into one chest of general cooked materials.
From a hopper. So you just our chest is filled with fuel always, and then whatever raw materials we have, we just put up there,
Mhm.
and then we come back whenever we want, and they'll all be in that bottom chest.
Yeah, because the fault of
That's cool.
the furnace is that you can stack coal, but you can't put charcoal on top of coal. You can cook pork, but you can't cook pork and chicken at the same time.
Right.
So what happens when you put in pork in a piece of coal and it burns out? You got to put more in?
Mm-hmm.
Nah. Stuff everything you're ever gonna want to cook into the raw chest, and eventually it'll end up cooked. That's the theory,
Okay.
and it works.
And it works.
It's pretty efficient.
Now you could even theoretically make this one step better. If you have like an entire storage room, you could connect the hoppers from the bottom part all the way up into that chest that is reserved for say
Yeah.
food.
And to top that off, this is very complicated, and I think you need redstone for it. But you can not only do that, you can sort it by food. I forget how you do.
I don't think we have the resources yet.
Yeah, you need a lot of iron
You
for
need a lot
coppers
of
and a lot of
redstone.
redstone. But you can I forget how you do it. But you put stuff directly in the hopper, so only that passes through it, and then that will go into a chest. And if
I
not, it'll
see.
skip to the next hopper.
Okay.
So the part of the genius is the limitation. We have very few materials, and I still try to automate it. Call myself a genius here.
I don't know Minecraft.
Yeah, true. I want to create.
Yeah. Creation is a beautiful thing.
We created a means to create. We are effigies of our creator.
We are made in the image of God. And with that being said, I think it's about time for us to call it a day. It's been a very productive one today. We've just talked
I enjoyed
topic.
I enjoyed the conversation. I
Very-
enjoyed being able to listen in.
very
Even though I
interesting.
did talk, but I enjoyed.
That's a very cerebral episode.
Yeah. This was a sort of a mental catharsis.
Uh,
I have been one of your co-hosts, Dare Bear, joined here by
Jeff Grizzly.
and
Polar Reg.
we thank you for listening as always. And most importantly, we hope you hear from us again because these views are starting to dwindle, if I'm going to be honest with you. But anywho,
We gotta just get back. We're coming back from
Yeah.
a break. We'll get it back. I'll tell you, we got
We
it.
gotta spread the word.
yeah,
So,
I will try to improve the marketing. I might even get Bryce to do marketing for us
get
because
Mike back, and he'll do another.
oh yeah, we'll get Panda Mike back as soon as he's done, in Vegas. If he's even gonna come back from Vegas, maybe he'll just spiral. I don't know, but yeah. Thank you again for listening, and we hope you hear from us again. Goodbye.
Goodbye.